Cinesmack contains spoilers of the spoiling type. If you don't want your spoilers spoiled, please turn back now. Otherwise, enjoy the show!
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to the main event! This is Cinesmack! And the winner is...
Hello, Cinesmacketeers. Welcome to bout number 178 of Cinesmack, the podcast about films by filmmakers. I'm your guest host, Kyle. Actually, I should probably have a spy name, right? Call me Rick Diablo. I'm your guest host, Rick Diablo. Joining me tonight is our panel of award-winning judges. First of all, filmmaker and owner of Cheshire Moon Films, Tom. Am I talking to an actor now or a human being? Neither, sir. I'm a policeman. Haggis.
Haven't felt this good since we overthrew Chile.
There's a Kevin from The Office joke in there somewhere. But second, filmmaker and owner of Arizona Ink Studios, Andrew. I want you to smoke one after you get a little. You do get a little. Yeah, a little. Zumwalt.
Blockbuster Video, Des Moines, Iowa.
Topical and local. The way I like my anesthetic. Third, filmmaker and owner of One Genome Short Productions, Gabriel. Are you going to bring me the martini, or do I have to suck it out of the glass from here, Rowald?
I'm completely unprepared for this. I do not have a quote. There are no good quotes. That's the problem.
What a great cover.
I know. Well, we're going to find that out later.
You're blowing it, Gabe.
Totally. Yeah, I did not think about having a good quote. Sorry. My bad.
It shows. And finally, your normal host and the godfather of this humble abode, writer, actor, director, stunt woodsman, Tom Selleck impersonator, and owner of Southsider Studios, Mike. Second time around the sewer, and I haven't found shit. Keeler.
I'm a very naughty boy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm a very naughty boy.
Just one time slower for me, please.
I'm a very naughty boy.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and poke the monkey and find out what movies we're talking about tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, accidental assassins and coincidental contacts, welcome to the main event. Tonight, two mixed-up movies of mistaken identity fight to figure out who will finish first. Will the man who knew too little learn enough to top the leaderboard? Or will the man with one red shoe tie up the trophy? In the first quarter, from 1997, written by Robert Farrar and Howard Franklin, directed by John Amia, starring Peter Gallagher, Joanne Wally, and Bill Murray. The man who knew too little. In the second quarter, from 1985, written by Francis Weber, Yves Robert, and Robert Clay. Directed by Stan Dragotti. Starring Dabney Coleman, Lori Singer, and Tom Hanks. The man with one red shoe.
That's right, folks. As the crowd shouts the Kumite in the background, we are ready to get to our death match tonight. Two 80s and 90s spy, mistaken identity, real life blurring films are here to discuss for your entertainment. I think without further ado, Rick Diablo says, let's just get this party started with our first category, which is writing.
All right, everybody. So we're going to talk a little bit about the writing here. I feel like, I'll be honest, I didn't really care for either of these movies. When I was growing up, Man with One Red Shoe was one of those movies that, I don't know, it was a little bit too grown up. Let's see, it came out in 85, so I was 8 or 9 years old. So it was just kind of one of those movies I was always curious about, but I didn't watch it until we got to this. I've always kind of wanted to, but it was like Bachelor Party and, you know, some of the other kind of offbeat comedies that Tom Hanks started his career with. So it's always kind of been a curiosity, but for some reason I did not watch it for 40 years. So here we are. I didn't really care for either of these movies. I feel like one of these was considerably better than the other one. The writing on The Man Who Knew Too Much, I felt was really contrived. And I mean, I think a lot of it leans on the direction of it, but I mean, as the writing goes, they really did a pretty decent job of kind of making all these kind of twists and turns and making these things that you could, if you squint a little bit, you could see how somebody would have gotten the two things mixed up. But the whole mistaken identity movies always hinge on that, you know, how far can you actually take this? And I kind of feel like Man Who Knew Too Little took it too far, too fast. Like 20 minutes in, I feel like things would start falling apart. But they do kind of set Bill Murray up as not a very bright guy and a little bit clueless. And so obviously that helps a little bit. But it seems like everyone else around him would start to figure out that something is off a little bit. And that's also what these two movies hinge on, is that the antagonists have to believe that this unknowing normal guy is some kind of mastermind spy. And I don't buy it in either of these movies. I also feel like The Man Who Knew Too Little, it suffers from way too much exposition. There's just way too much like geopolitical stuff going on in the background, and I know that helps complicate things, but I don't know. It just feels like the movie was too complicated in some areas and too dull in others, and it wasn't very well balanced. Man with One Shoe does it a little bit better, but I think that comes from a better director and acting. The supporting cast in Man with One Red Shoe was a lot stronger, and we'll talk about that. But so it's hard for me to kind of figure out, was it the script or was it the acting? And I want to lean towards the script because it seems like everything in Man with One Red Shoe was better. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, you're fine.
Well, I think this is going to be one of those episodes where we're choosing the lesser of two evils when it comes to basically every category, as far as I can tell. The writing, like you said, Tom, is not strong for either of these films, and that kind of goes back to my having no quote. There wasn't anything that I truly remembered that was quotable from any of these movies, and I'm like, oh shit, I need a quote, and I can't think of one. Andrew took one of the best ones, the one about Des Moines, and because that obviously being from Des Moines, that caught my attention. But yeah, the writing is really not great. The character development is weak. And even when there is like deeper character development, it's like really, in many ways, not relevant to the story. Tom Hanks' character is a violinist, and I guess there's some relevance to the story because they think maybe he's trying to pass messages through the music or something. But in large part, it doesn't really have any impact on the story. It doesn't matter if he's a violinist and a music teacher, a composer, or not, really, in the end. The situations seem really contrived just to get them into, a situation where they don't realize that, what's going on, and that they accidentally do things that make them seem like super spies or something, And so it all seems very contrived. It doesn't seem very natural. And overall, I just found the writing on both of these to be very, very weak.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I guess I look at it as it felt like the Man Who Knew Too Little was written to be funny and to be a comedy, and it felt easier to watch knowing that it was stretching my suspension of disbelief, whereas The Man with the One Red Shoe very much felt like they were trying to, there are funny moments in it, but it definitely felt like there was a more seriousness and a realistic tone to it, that they were trying to get through some of these things. It's not as comical, I would say, as The Man Who Knew Too Little. The Man Who Knew Too Little, there are just moments, there are scenes that are written that are very obvious that they're a little heightened in that comedy. Like, they're written for comedy, whereas I didn't see as much of that in The Man with the One Red Shoe, that, the scenes aren't overly written to be funny. There are funny moments, but it just seems like it's supposed to be a normal movie with these weird coincidences happening. So that was, I don't know. That was my comparison. That's all I really have.
Oh, all right.
I
Well,
agree with you guys. So Mike's going to tear us all a new one. So
I feel the Man Who Knew Too Little went in knowing it was going to be a comedy and like a farce. Because like you said, Andrew, there were a lot more scenes with more comedy. Like it felt like it had a through line clear through.
Yeah,
right.
It was set up to be funny.
Correct. Like never taking anything very serious at all. Where The Man with One Red Shoe, on the other hand, felt like it was, oh, hey, we have a spy thriller. Oh, hey, we have a comedy. Oh, no, this is a dark comedy. No, this is a lover's like this is a love triangle. It was going so many different ways. And apparently someone's drag racing down my street. Sorry. It was going so many different ways. It just did not feel like the same movie all the way through. And to me, I think The Man Who Knew Too Little just had a better script. Like it feels like it was more fleshed out, where The Man with One Red Shoe just felt like it was pieced together and it didn't really know what it wanted to be.
I think you got that backwards, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think you did.
I feel like neither of them really. They both felt very stitched together. Like here we have these situations that we want them to get into, and so we're just going to try to stack these situations together somehow and tie them loosely to one another. And they didn't feel very cohesive to me.
I disagree
either
with that. I would say that The Man Who Knew Too Little at least is has moments A to B to C that are supposed to be goofy. Whereas the man with one red shoe, each scene is, I don't know what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that
it's like those.
Not to say either one are strong. I'm just saying.
And I'm not saying either one is strong, but I am saying simply that the man with one red shoe seems very schizophrenic when compared to the man who knew too little.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the man who knew too little was a prize-winning script and that it should have all the accolades, by no means, but at least the character's written dumb enough that he doesn't understand this. When you compare,
yeah, and that's the only
right.
That's the only cohesiveness.
But that's what
so
you
is that he's a dimwit who wants to be an actor so bad he just goes along with everything.
Right, and that's what Tom said. Like, he is the through line. Like, to me,
that's the thread.
Is the thread, right?
Yeah,
where
that's a pretty thin thread. That's
yeah. Don't use what I said to back up man who knew too little.
When you have the man with one red shoe, you have this guy who's considered a musical genius. He is supposed to be a genius, and he's not figuring this stuff out. Now, granted, there are you can be a genius with certain things and be totally dumb in other ways, but I would just think that he would pick up on this, right?
My problem wasn't actually with him. It was with all of the really smart undercover agents that were like, oh, this guy has something, and they just went along with it.
Yeah.
Like, to me, at least with the man who knew too little, there were moments when they're like, this guy is not actually a spy.
Right.
Now, there were scenes that broke all that, and I get it. And it was a little, again, stretching that suspension of disbelief. But at least they were like, this guy's not a spy. In the man with one red shoe, they were like, this guy is the super spy of all things. He's genius. How does he know? It's like, oh my God.
All right. I just want to remind everybody, as we approach 4 minutes left in this round, we are not getting paid by the hour. So if you want to call it, let's just stop. We don't have to drag this on. There's no reason to keep talking about these movies. So if you just want to ding, 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 that's fine. And we can just get home early.
I mean, I guess I just look at the comparison of, like, we're saying that the guy has to be dumb enough for the plot to continue. I can name a ton of movies that are similar where your main character has to be dumb enough to not realize for the movie to flow and for the comedy to even come close to touching base. And I feel like the man who knew too little does a better job at that. That's about as far as I'm going to go with the script saying.
You have to remind old Rick Diablo here, Mike. How much do you want the guest host to get involved in the conversation? Want me to sit back and just because I am testing. I'm testing all you guys out for a job in the program. So I believe you have it all in you to be part of my wet works unit, and that's all basically water sports and around Ozarks and the Florida Keys. But
I want you to use my face as a toilet.
You have it in you. Wow, that was a rare moment of honesty. I believe you've been given some of that drug that Bill Murray gets in the movie, the truth serum, which I love as a plot device. So I've listened to what you guys have been saying a little bit here, and I think the man with one red shoe is barely qualified as a movie. It is a series of moving images that loosely follow one after the other. And that is about as high a praise as I can give it. I feel like the idea that Tom Hanks is quote unquote dumb to the whole thing is really just a lack of attention and sort of him being self-absorbed. And he's helped a lot by the idiocy of the people who are trying to put things on him. In The Man Who Knew Too Little, you're at least given this guy who is kind of gregarious, outgoing, a real naive sort of bumpkin who stumbles into this, and you can believe that he goes along with this because he buys into the premise. So it helps you buy into the premise, even though things are silly. And I think you get a little of that show don't tell at the beginning where they show the theater of life, right? So you kind of know what you're expecting. but yeah, they're very disorganized. And The Man Who Knew Too Little uses a lot of tropes from the sort of accidental spy. I don't know if I'd call it a genre, but it's definitely a trope that goes through Hollywood. But
Naked Gun.
yeah, but I will say this, and I don't want to out the movie right now. There's nothing more painful to me than watching a comedy that's not funny. I think I've shared before the worst experience I ever had watching a film in public was Holmes and Watson, which I like Will Ferrell and I like John C. Reilly, but sitting in a theater for an hour and a half surrounded by a bunch of people who are miserable as they're watching like scientifically proven funny people not be funny for 90 minutes is pain. It's a painful experience. So yeah, comedies that are not funny are painful, but if you guys are ready to wrap it up, I'll give you 30 seconds back and we can just move right on.
I mean,
Got any last minute?
He was chasing tail in the Man with One Red Shoe. You got to give him. He was distracted a little bit.
That is true. Yes.
He was chasing tail. So
yeah, whale tail, a little Joanne Whaley tail, right?
Hey.
Or no, is it Whirly? I can't remember.
And Princess Leia in a bikini.
Yeah. Well, I think he more had a thing for the lesser talented Belushi brother, and I think Memory definitely went over by the end. But, or as I heard someone call him on a podcast, Dr. Doctopus, the doctor with doctor arms, which I thought was funny. All right, so that's the end of writing. Let's get to a vote. I know that Mike goes in some order, but I don't do that. So let's just go with Andrew first. What's your vote for writing?
The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Okay. And Gabe?
Can I vote for neither? Or split my vote? Can I do half a vote?
I wasn't allowed to do that.
Gabe, I got you.
This is a Men in Black. This is a Men in Black like screening situation. So you can do whatever you want, Gabe, but I may have to kill you before the end of the movie if you get it wrong.
Yeah, I might welcome that. Yeah.
So this is an intervention for Gabe.
The man who. Oh, I gave it away. The Man Who Knew.
Oh, there you go. That's enough. Yep. The man who had one red shoe. So the Man Who Knew Too Little for Gabe. And Mike?
Knew Too Little.
And Tom?
Gabe, you said man. I'll take Man with One Red Shoe.
Okay, checks in the mail, bruv governor, isn't it? Oh, Danny Boyle, cash that check. So I have never had the difficulty I've had trying to find trivia for these two movies. I don't know if anybody else tried it, but good Lord. I wanted to do a spoof where we go through who all was considered for the casting, and I thought I'd just put Arnold Schwarzenegger in every role. But so in The Man Who Knew Too Little, at the airport, Bill Murray is asked for his passport, where he says the picture's not a very good one, and then opens his wallet, in which is a picture of him as Carl Spackler from Caddyshack.
It's pretty awesome.
The opening scene of The Man with One Red Shoe is supposed to take place in Morocco. You might know that from the one non-flapping red flag with a green star that I noticed. They later mentioned it's Morocco, but I was like, you're really not setting any scenes here. But it was actually filmed in the port of Los Angeles. I wonder why. Okay, so with that, those brain ticklers out of the way, let's move on to our second round, which is acting.
Yeah, well, this is going to be one of those lesser of two evil rounds as well. And it's weird to me because I feel like we've got a couple of pretty decent actors in these films. I don't know what you guys think of Bill Murray as an actor, but I think he, over time matured quite a bit. And obviously he started out with a great, great comedic acting chops. and then evolved later on into becoming a pretty decent, serious actor. I think he's actually a pretty decent actor. And I've noted that before, where a lot of comedians are often decent dramatic actors as well. And I think it has something to do with, like, the art of comedy. You have to know kind of the human condition and human suffering, and you understand that, and then you can turn that into comedy, but you understand that intrinsically, and that informs more dramatic acting. And Tom Hanks, I mean, who would not argue that Tom Hanks is one of the greatest actors of our generation? Jill watched. I'm going to shorten this stuff for us. I'm gonna say Red Shoe and Too Little. Jill watched Red Shoe with me, and we got to talking about, like, Tom Hanks roles, and she says, "Well, he looks really young. This is pretty early. Where was he in his career?" And we started going through the movies, and we're like, "Oh my God, that's a great movie." And I won't be able to do them in order necessarily, but things like Castaway and A Sleepless in Seattle and Forrest Gump and all these great, Saving Private Ryan. Oh my God, great movies, great performances.
Mazes and Monsters.
Sure, I don't know that one, but I haven't seen that
one. It's a satanic D&D movie.
Oh yeah, that's early. It doesn't get very good reviews. Yeah,
David S.
But
Pumpkins.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But even before The Man with One Red Shoe, I mean, he had done Splash and Bachelor Party, which I think he was pretty well known for, and was known for his comedic chops in those movies. And so it was really weird to see him kind of almost like floundering in this movie. And I felt like it relates to the last round a little bit. He didn't have a lot to work with. He didn't have a lot of character to work with. He didn't have a lot to build upon. And it was just kind of weird, because it's like, well, this is definitely not one of Tom Hanks' best performances. And I'm not sure there were any great performances in either of these movies. And we had other great actors in these movies. Actually, strangely enough, I think Jill and I got the most chuckles out of, what did you call him, Kyle? Out of Jim Belushi, the less talented.
Oh, the less talented Belushi brother.
Yeah, we actually got more chuckles out of him than we did out of Tom Hanks and others in that movie. So,
I mean, that may have been a survival instinct by the time he shows up in the movie. You're just
could be.
You're trying to convince yourself some of this is funny.
Right. Well, and yeah, exactly. And he wasn't funny throughout, but we felt like the part near the end where he was seeing all the dead bodies and that kind of stuff, and we thought, well, we got a few chuckles out of that. It wasn't great, but we thought it was kind of funny. Alfred Molina, I mean, I think he's a pretty decent actor, and he didn't have anything to work with either. He just was not. And I don't know if he really fits kind of the comedy, style, a comedy genre type acting. So there were some decent actors in these movies, and all of them underperformed. It just really was not. It was not a workshop for acting by any means.
Okay, so you didn't bring up Carrie Fisher, which,
well, yeah,
this is their first movie together, her and Hanks, which they also play a married couple in The Burbs.
The Burbs, yeah,
right.
Which is another movie you didn't mention.
She's adorable. Yeah, I did not recognize her when they first showed her in the airport, and she was coming down the stairs with Jim Belushi, or down the escalator or whatever with Jim Belushi. I didn't recognize her. I didn't realize it was her until they did a close up, and I'm like, oh, that's Carrie Fisher.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let Rick Diablo break in for a quick anecdote. I watched this movie with my wife, and she said, like which one of them's older? Like, how old are they? They are the same age. Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher.
Really?
Yeah, born in the same year.
Huh.
Interesting.
That would make them the same age.
So I want to.
Not necessarily. I don't know if you know how months work.
They were born on the exact same minute, Gabe.
This is what this episode has come to.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
This is the most interesting stuff we can talk about.
One red shoe.
One of the things I've come to. You were talking about Carrie Fisher.
One red. Oh, hold on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
We've all done that.
Guys, that one line funnier than the whole of The Man with One Red Shoe, and I didn't even try.
Squiggy, Squint.
Yeah.
What's his name? From Laverne and Shirley. He's in it.
Yeah, Squiggy.
You got Tom Noonan, who played the Ripper in Last Action Hero. He's one of his Guardian agents, which I think
also
He's the one
the
that has all
killer.
his teeth taken out.
yes. Which
He's also
they
the
never
killer
went
and
back to.
Manhunter, which
They
we
never
watched.
really did. They
They never did go back to that.
No, because
Yeah,
he never acted like he was missing teeth.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, come on. But I love.
I feel like there's some comedy in that, right? They
Right.
took out all his teeth. There's some funny stuff you
Right.
could do with that. Maybe the way
I
he
think
talks
they
or
cut it.
he smiles.
I think
It's
they cut it.
it's on the Blu-ray. I've got the Blu-ray with the
Oh,
cut
really?
scene where he's blowing Dabney Coleman. So
He's speaking of Dabney Coleman, like perfect pick to play the asshole boss. You know, trying to outsmart everybody and just swarmy asshole. I am a fan of Dabney Coleman's. But then also there's David Ogden Stiers. He's the conductor of the orchestra. He was in MASH.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you already talked about Alfred Molina. Peter Gallagher, he's just there to play the brother that's being bothered by his other brother. But he actually has some very, I think not very, but he has some funny moments. Like when he's sitting at the table and he just kind of raises his hands. He's like, yeah, sure. You know, and I just found that really funny how he delivered those lines and how he did it. We talked about Alfred Molina. Joanne Whalley, I mean, I went back and I was trying to look at some of her IMDb credits and I haven't seen anything else that she's done, but I like her in this film. But yeah, otherwise you have a lot of guys, a lot of British actors that are usually in more dramatic roles. You know, Richard Wilson, Terrence Harvey. Yeah, go ahead.
what do you drive? What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Chevy Silverado.
Okay. All right. I thought you had a Dodge.
No.
So anyway, that would explain why you left Edward Herman off, because he's the voice of Dodge.
Yes.
How can you?
Yeah.
Edward Herman is so good in this.
I did
and
forget about Edward Herman.
underutilized,
You're
I think.
right.
So,
You're right.
but yeah.
Yeah, I think we should mention Lori Singer as well. I don't know that she had it, but Jill and I were remarking how much she looks like Daryl Hannah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the whole time
She's
when we first saw
Daryl
her,
Hannah.
yeah, kind of. I don't know that she had a lot of. I don't know that she did a lot of acting, but she.
Wasn't she in Footloose? She was in Footloose, right?
Yeah. She's the.
I have some Lori
she's the main
Singer
girlfriend.
trivia.
Ooh,
You're going to learn
okay.
everything you want to know about Lori Singer
All right.
coming up here.
But
I don't
she's
think not everything.
She's the discount.
Oh no, everything. I've been in her house.
Okay.
Wow, you went deep undercover for that.
Well, I've never gone deep before, but yes, I've scratched
We're
the
losing
surface.
listeners by the minute.
Gabe,
By the
you
way-
have to have them to lose them.
Charles Durning,
This
you know,
is true.
the very first thing I thought of was he's in Joe's Apartment.
Wow. 6
Yep.
degrees of Joe's Apartment.
That's
For
that
Gavin
is.
Coleman.
Just had a
I saw
reference
him and
to
I was like,
Joe's
"Oh my
Apartment.
god, he's in Joe's Apartment." Okay,
All right. During one
I
of
feel
these
like-
breaks, I'm going to do Dabney Coleman to whoever voiced the main cockroach in Joe's Apartment. We're going to play that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
It would be an interesting episode.
I think one of the things with that kind of hurts me with One Red Shoe is it feels like Tom Hanks was still trying to find his that goofy, like
Yeah.
that he's kind of later in the 80s when he kind of nailed down, like with Big, like he nailed down exactly what he wanted his Tom Hanks characters to be like. Because he came off of Family Ties and just did Splash, Bachelor Party, and Man with One Red Shoe like back to back within months. And it seems like he was trying to figure out like what he wanted those characters to be and like what the Tom Hanks kind of signature moves were. And I don't know, it just seems like the Man with One Red Shoe ones weren't quite nailing it as well as they did in Bachelor Party and Splash, but we have that hindsight now. We look back on a very long, successful career and go and be like, oh yeah, this is, you can see someone tinkering with what they want to do.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I would say that Splash and Bachelor Party being before Man with One Red Shoe, he does a better of that goofy, like that actual personification of that goofy, serious person. He does much better in those two movies.
Right, but they hadn't come out yet when they shot Man with One Red Shoe, so I think he was still kind of like,
oh, I see what you're saying.
Throwing out a year's worth of work and then seeing how the audience is,
because the money pit, he nails it.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
that's the following
you
year.
can see some of the foundation, the eye movement, the eyebrows with the eyes, it's there. He just hasn't mastered it. Right. And isn't the Volunteers came out the same year as the Man with One Red Shoe. And that's one of his lowest. It's got a 5.5. And then a year later is Money Pit. And then it kind of starts climbing with that.
Because Volunteers is with John Candy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Splash.
John Candy. And Splash, yep.
And real Daryl Hannah.
And real Daryl Hannah. Not discount Daryl Hannah.
And Opie from
oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, Ron Howard, yeah.
Ron Howard directed that.
That's right.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought too about speaking of those kind of developing those like developing your chops or whatever, I felt like Bill Murray was kind of in between his really goofy and kind of more serious. I felt like he was trying to be funny and goofy at times, but he wasn't as over the top as say something like Caddyshack or something like that, where he was just really overtly goofy. But he also wasn't like very, he wasn't like a straight character either, where he was like, more serious. I felt like he was in this strange middle ground that really, for him, it didn't work for me. Like I didn't feel like it was like Bill Murray's best performance.
And it's interesting because that's after his peak. I mean, that's after Groundhog Day and What About Bob and Quick Change and Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Scrooge. I mean, this was the movie he did. He was in Wild Things. I had forgotten about that. And then took time off, and then and then Rushmore. And then Rushmore, which was like a comeback movie for him. So which kind of
and I feel like
various roles.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like he kind of made a little bit of a switch there and was actually really pretty successful with doing a little bit more serious or a little bit drier humor type roles. But I just felt like he was somewhere in between in this role, and it just didn't work. He should have been either really over the top goofy or a little bit, more serious. But where he was, it just didn't quite work for me.
It is like it's like this was his last goofy. Like this is the very end of the goofy Bill Murray era. Was this movie? So this is the movie that killed Bill Murray.
Yeah. And that brings the end to the round to an end. And just like a sad day at the Disney hospital, it was the end of Goofy. So let's get. So do we do the trivia first? We do the voting first, right? Yeah, let's do the voting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, let's do the voting. I know how to do this. I've been here before. Rick Diablo is obviously normal panel member Kyle Finan, not a Russian plant. So let's start with Gabe acting.
Again, another rough one. I'm gonna go with the man who knew too little.
Tom.
Yeah, I'm not going against Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher. Man with one red shoe.
Mike.
Oh boy. This is the one that's difficult for me. I'm gonna go with Knew Too Little.
And Andrew.
I have to vote for Tom Hanks too. So
You don't want to wait for the original Tom Hanks?
no,
Vote for Tom Hanks too. Okay.
Tom Hanks too. The second one.
In the story, this time it's personal. In the story of The Man with One Red Shoe, Richard was a child prodigy and a student at Juilliard School of Music. In real life, Laurie Singer, who played Maddie, actually was a musical child prodigy at the cello, making her debut as a soloist at the age of 13. She was then accepted into Juilliard the following year and became the youngest ever graduate.
Wow.
In The Man Who Knew Too Little, when Wallace Ritchie, Bill Murray, uses the mallet to break down the door, he yells, "Here's Johnny." This is a nod to Jack Torrance breaking down the door with an axe and saying the same thing in The Shining. The mallet is also the signature weapon used by Jack Torrance in Stephen King's novel The Shining, unlike the axe used in Stanley Kubrick's movie. And I found this out this week in the book Misery. She uses an axe, but in the movie they turn it into a mallet. So they're all over the place with these weapons in Stephen King movies.
I'll be damned.
No, you be Mike. I'll be Rick Diablo. Moving on to the third category, directing.
Okay, so let's talk about Stan Dragoti, who is the director of The Man with One Red Shoe. The only other movie that I've ever seen him direct that I recognize, besides Necessary Roughness, was Mr. Mom. And Mr. Mom was a cute, humorous, fun movie, and nothing like The Man with One Red Shoe. And that was 2 years before. So Mr. Mom, and it actually is a better movie according to a lot of opinion out there. But nonetheless, thought that was kind of interesting. John Emile, he has quite a few movies that I've seen that I actually enjoyed. There are a couple in here that I'm like, not so much. We were joking earlier about The Core.
Greatest movie ever made.
Greatest movie ever made. But there's like Entrapment with Sean Connery. Pretty good movie. Lot of TV directing. He has only had like a couple of actual full feature length movies. So that was kind of interesting that he does a lot of TV. Maybe that adds to the ability to be able to, I don't know, make a good movie because you're different time lengths, I don't know. It's just interesting. He has one small stint of movies and the rest of it is TV series. So interesting stuff there. I was just going to point out that with The Man Who Knew Too Little, you mentioned that Bill Murray feels very non-Bill Murray, like unfunny almost. I think that Gabe, you were talking about that at the end of the last round. And I'm curious if it was more of he was directed to play this character, and he was being pushed to actually act in the sense of, hey, this is the character I want you to play. You need to play this character. Where in some of his other movies, which are, I would say, more on the humorous side, where he stands out, things like Ghostbusters and Caddyshack, it feels like he potentially has more openings where he's just kind of riffing maybe, but doing off the cuff jokes that get put into the movie. He's adjusting his character as it goes. And it really felt like he was being told to act versus Bill Murray find the character. And I think that's some of the stiffness, at least from my perspective. It felt like that was some of the stiffness, that it wasn't just Bill Murray being Bill Murray, doing what he's good at.
Yeah, and that very well could be. It could be a combination of the writing and the directing that led to that. That not having a lot of good material to work with from the writing, the character development, and maybe being restricted.
And being like, you have to play this character this way.
Mm.
And I don't know that for a fact, but
no, yeah, it's tough as a director to know when to rein in an actor. Especially somebody like that who's probably really just fantastic at improvisation because of, how he developed as an actor. Is because sometimes that stuff can lead to gold, and other times it can lead to problems where it's like, how do we fit this in? How do we fit this improvisation into the story? How do we edit it together if we're not prepared for it? So there's kind of a mix there. And
I was just going to say, and back then, like in the 90s, you're still on film. So blowing hours of film of improv and then trying to edit that all together is expensive. It could potentially waste a ton of money. It's different than when you're shooting on digital and you can do 70 takes of goofiness and then you find the 3 that are really funny and you put them together and it works well. It's a lot harder to do that in the 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about, like shots and abilities to be able to shoot crazy scenes or whatever. I mean, the one, I guess, that would stick out to me in The Man Who Knew Too Little is there is a car chase scene. Those are not easy to film. That's a lot of work. So, kudos to them to getting that in. I mean, it wasn't anything elaborate or crazy, but, I got to give you some love on that because those are, especially with the big cameras that they were using, the film cameras at the time. I also have to give the director, potentially the set director, or maybe even just the set dresser. In The Man with One Red Shoe, I have no idea where they found that penthouse that had solid mirrors on one side of the wall, including the hearth of the actual fireplace being solid mirrors. And then all of that 80s magic that was going on in that place. Kudos to finding that.
Careful. Don't spoil any of my trivia about the lighting and set decoration of The Man with One Red Shoe.
Sorry. Nope. That I was just going to give them kudos because damn, I saw that and I was like, wow. So I'll let you have your moment. Yeah, that's all. Neither one of these jumped out as, wow, these were, sensationally directed or wow, they did this really cool thing. They were adequately directed to tell a story.
I totally agree.
As what it was.
I agree. I think the reason why we didn't get the performances that we were used to or a number of things, script, timing, and also just the director not really giving the actors something to work with, right? Like not saying, hey, Tom, look, I know this script is not an A+ script, but let's try and give it our all, right? Yeah, let's do it. Instead, he's like, yep, let's just go ahead and do this. Oh, yeah, that was good, Tom. All right, moving on.
Thanks for reading your line.
Yeah, and I kind of felt the same way with, Bill. Like you said, I think we could have seen a little more of his zany side. What About Bob is just fucking
brilliant.
Yeah, gold standard for Bill Murray's zany side and parts of Groundhog Day, right?
100%.
And Caddyshack and stuff like that, where I feel like the director was reining him in too much. Like, oh, that's going to be a little too unbelievable. And that could just be me projecting it, right? Like saying, oh, I wish he would have done this. I wish he would have done that. But it just feels like he was a little subdued. And I feel like Tom Hanks was just told, hey, we're here to get a check, right? And not really elaborate too much more. Where I think, and also to I think it was Tom's point, some of that is Tom Hanks trying to find his groove. And I don't think the director helped him out at all with that.
There's a movie for you.
I'm sorry.
How Tom Hanks got his groove.
Sorry, we're smack. This round's completely off the fucking rails. Bill Murray, who has been doing it for 20 years, puts in a performance that's really kind of mid. And you guys are like, oh, Bill Murray's great in this, even though he sucks. And then Tom Hanks, who's trying to find his groove, you're like docking him for it. I just don't I feel like there's
I'm not docking Tom Hanks. I'm not trying to praise Bill Murray. What I'm trying to say is, I think it's both these directors' faults that the movies are not better. I'm saying that each director made, I think, some bad choices when they were directing their stars. Let Bill Murray go. Let Tom Hanks go. Like, let him go. Let him do it. Or, get behind Tom Hanks if he comes up and says he has this great idea to do. It's like, yeah, let's do it. I'll give you a take to do it. And it would, where one person I felt was holding I felt the director is holding Tom Hanks at like, no, just do it this way. It's fine. And the director with Bill Murray was like, no, let's go back down to more normal land. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I would agree.
And
I'm not
trying to blame the actors. I'm saying I think these movies lie a large percentage of our problems with the movies are with the directors.
Yes. I think the directors held them back 100%.
Because
Bill Murray he's a specific character, and that is not Bill Murray in any other movie.
Right.
Bill Murray has waves of characters as he goes through his movies, no matter what he's doing. Even in his serious stuff, you can see his character to evolve. This movie, he's the same guy the entire movie. He does not grow.
Look, I'm no fan of John Emile. I don't think he's a very good director. I disagree with Andrew. I think Entrapment was not very good. Copycat and Summers being like, he's made some pretty punchliney movies.
I didn't say Copycat was good.
Hold on. Let's roll back the tape. I believe all of us, except for Tom, used Copycat.
All I said was Entrapment. I thought I enjoyed Entrapment.
And I went into this with open mind. I was like, all right, he directed The Core, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But it is not. We have directors who are like, oh, it was serviceable. He kind of did his thing and got out of the way. John Emile did not do that in this movie. He was constantly in the way. He was in the way of Bill Murray. He was in the way of the action scenes. It was an absolute directorial mess. Like, I didn't know what the hell was going on some of the scenes because everything was so convoluted, and if they weren't blowing through exposition trying to explain why they wanted to start another Cold War, and it was just the car chase scenes were like, hey, let's go do a car chase scene through a roundabout over and over. Like, What the hell, man? It is an absolute mess. And I'm not saying Man with One Red Shoe is, Citizen Kane, but for crying out loud, it's directorial wise, it's way better than Man Who Knew Too Little. I thought Man Who Too Little was actually referring to John Emile.
You know,
That was a long walk, Tom. That was a very long walk for that.
No, I wasn't planning on getting there. That just came out at the end.
That's
but
that's all he has up on his computer screen right now is just that tagline. He's like, I gotta find a way to get this in. Yeah.
I swear I did not have that.
And also the check from Danny Boyle hanging up above it. I agree with you, Tom. I mean, the dinner scenes, like where they're talking about the bank stuff, felt so claustrophobic. Like
It was just bad. It didn't help the story either.
No, but it just felt so tight. I was like, God, that does bug me. I own the movie on Blu-ray, but that does bug me.
Why are the Senate scenes in Man with One Red Shoe so goddamn dark? Like,
Oh, don't hold on. I got stuff about the lighting too.
oh, for crying out loud!
Careful.
Okay, and I will say,
Can't talk about it.
that the scene in the port of Los Angeles with the Mercedes Benz and all the cocaine and all the like 24, dock workers ODing on cocaine is the most 80s scene I have ever seen in my life.
100%.
Well, not only that,
Right.
but the car that was like above him, and you could tell that it was a comp shot, and it was like back and forth, and then when they drop it, it's very obvious he's not there.
Right.
Like it was so bad.
Yeah, I will say,
One Red Shoe starts with one of the greatest examples you can give someone of what B-roll is, where they shoot Dabney Coleman and the film looks one way, and then they shoot a crane, and you go, that's not the same camera, or the same day, or the same place.
Or the same angle.
Yeah, or anything.
I will give Stan Dragoti a little nod because he was married to Cheryl Teague. So,
Well, yeah, that was going to be one of the things. Was that going to be your trivia, Kyle? That was going to be one of the things. That
Was
that
it?
was his greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, I really.
No, that's not my trivia. But
Okay.
it is impressive.
It is impressive.
Agreed.
He did Mr. Mom, and Cheryl Teague was like, I need more of that.
And she did Mr. whatever his name was. I
Mr.
wasn't paying
John.
attention.
She was in
Big
Moonlight, so
John.
that's why.
That was the song, right?
Yes.
Strong as a horse and 6 feet wide. Or something like that. I can't remember the lyrics.
I just want to point out that Cheryl Teague finally did end up in Sharknado 4. So,
Well, at least we got there. My change.org petition made a difference. Well, there's 15 seconds left, and I can't think of anything better to do with it than not talk about these movies. So let's go ahead and get right to the voting.
I brought up Cheryl Teague's being in Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens.
I know, and you're still dragging that on, and now we've run out of time. So let's go ahead, and we're going to start with Andrew, since you want to talk so much. Take your time.
I don't know who to vote for because neither one are great. So the Red Shoe, I guess. I don't know.
Wow, that felt like a panic pick. Okay, we're going to go on the mic.
It was. You were forcing me. I felt very forced.
I didn't force you to do anything. I said take your time. You cracked under pressure. Mike.
Boy, I'm gonna go with Red as well.
Wow. Tom.
Yeah, Man with One Red Shoe.
Oh my God, I'm looking at these scores and it's making me angry. Gabe.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Andrew. Again, can I not vote or split my vote, or I don't know.
Well, I didn't let Andrew, so what do you think?
Okay, all right, fine. I think maybe I don't want to make Tom angry at me, so I'm going to go with Red Shoe.
Or you could offset it so that way it becomes even. We could get a tie tonight.
Is that why you're getting angry, Kyle? Or are we close to a tie?
No, I'm getting angry because one of these films has any votes. Okay. Now let's go
what are we supposed to do?
No, you can't read my mind, but like I said, this is a Men in Black style test. So you'll find out at the end whether you made the program or not.
Oh,
or whether I have to kill you.
Oh, boy.
Tom Hanks described The Man with One Red Shoe as not a very good movie. It doesn't have any real clear focus to it. It isn't about anything in particular that you can honestly understand. It made no money at all.
I think he summed it up.
He summed up our podcast. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Yep. I restored my faith in Tom Hanks.
The Man Who Knew Too Little was adapted from a French film, as was The Man with One Red Shoe. These both were based on French properties, but was backed almost exclusively by a mysterious financier who offered 75% of the film's budget, which they delivered via armor car and bearer bonds, which is such a 1990s thing, I think.
80s and 90s.
There, no, I'm sorry. I'm getting this backwards. This is for The Man with One Red Shoe. This is a very 80s thing. I'm
Very
sorry.
80s.
Their only condition in exchange for this money was that the film's lighting and set direction follow exclusively a set of cryptic notes given to them about walls you can see through, boxes that show lights and time, even when not necessary, and everything being lit like you're standing at the edge of a pool. It was mysteriously signed H. Keller and was one of the last documents we have from that film's production history.
H. Keller. All right. Now, there, I smell a documentary.
Helen Keller? How would Helen Keller know how to do lighting?
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to say.
She also
Whoever did the lighting for
contributed
The
to
Man with
sound
One
design.
Red Shoe, if they're not Helen Keller, they're related to them because they shot the movie in such a way that is infuriating to look at. Also, all the glasses for Laurie Singer's character Maddie were donated by the German band Kraftwerk.
Is that true?
I love Kraftwerk.
No, neither of these things are true. But good job sniffing them out. That helps you on your agent test. So I'm done wasting enough time to get to the end of this podcast. So let's go to the overall section.
I'm not sure there's much else that can be said about these two movies.
Nope.
But
All right, thank you. So that brings an end to this episode. It's in a snap. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Please subscribe.
So Man with One Red Shoe. All I have, all my feelings for it come from watching it on HBO because they played it a lot when I was growing up. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it after watching it again. The Man Who Knew Too Little, I went and saw it in the theater, thought it was, I actually told Kyle this, we had been texting after he watched it. I did not like the movie when I first watched it, when I saw it in the theater. And then I caught it just one day at home. It was on a movie channel and I watched it. I'm like, okay, this movie actually does make me laugh. The majority of us on this podcast that were actually born in Des Moines, Iowa, or live in Des Moines, Iowa. I mean, all of us are in the central Iowa area. It's just funny to me that he worked at a Blockbuster in Des Moines.
Whoa, wait. Is that where all this Man Who Knew Too Little love is coming from that they mentioned in Des Moines?
No,
Are you guys,
no.
Are you guys that fucking cheap? Are you serious? Come on.
Listen here, Danny.
No,
Tom,
because
if you're
it's
choosing The
Blockbuster.
Man with
Because it's
One Red
Blockbuster.
Shoe
You
as
live
a,
in Ames. Jeez.
What?
yeah, if you're
I didn't
choosing The
grow up-
Man with
I
One
didn't
Red
grow up
Shoe as a
better.
hill to die on,
I didn't
If
grow
you
up
said
here.
Ames, Iowa, you would have been all over.
No, I didn't
Yep.
grow up here. I did not grow up
Tom's
with
from
this movie.
Omaha.
Yeah, if they would have said Omaha, Nebraska, Tom's like, this is the greatest movie ever made.
It's the
If
Blockbuster.
it had a Warren Buffett cameo or the College Baseball World Series, he'd be jizzing all over himself.
I would like you to go back and review my votes for election versus Ides of March.
He would have lost his shit if he was the manager of a spaghetti works in Omaha, Nebraska. It would have just been done.
That's a fucking deep cut, dude. Holy shit. God, why don't you just tell him my social security number?
It's 2 9er.
I yield the floor.
Z. No, but it's just funny to me that he's from Des Moines, Iowa, and the opening shot or the shot where he's talking to the British customs and he's trying to get his passport done. I know people like that will just stand there and talk to you and tell you everything that they're going to do. Right?
Well,
like that is very much a Midwestern thing.
And also he works at such and such bank. His name's Frank Miller. Do you know him, right? You know him, right? Because everyone knows, right?
Right. Because
everyone,
if you work at, I mean, for us here, it's like, oh, I work at someone says I work at Wells Fargo. Oh, do you know so and so? It's like,
do you know Bob Phillip? He's my buddy. He works at Wells Fargo. Some bank somewhere. You guys all know each other.
Thousands of people that work for Wells Fargo here, and but I do it too. Like I bring up, I know, such and such from there. And it doesn't matter, but it is such a Midwestern thing. And I think that's what I started to enjoy about the movie was that part. And just, I don't know, it just feels like it's, as I said earlier, it just feels like it has a better thread, where just going back to The Man with One Red Shoe, I get to see Carrie Fisher in her underwear, which is a big bonus. And I get to see the butt crack of, now I can't remember,
Lori Singer. You can remember her name because she went to Juilliard.
That's right. Lori Singer, Juilliard. But that's kind of it for me. That's all I got. I said everything I wanted to say.
I would like to just butt in quick and say Juilliard is a great name for if your ass is 3 feet wide. Andrew, you were saying?
No.
Okay,
I was just going to say.
All I said was
discount
me. Daryl Hannah. That was all I said. But
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah. Daryl Hannah is my brother Daryl
of the Hanna Barbera Company.
Anyways, we'll move on.
I just want to make a quick note about the music.
Don't take my trivia now.
Oh boy, I just
kidding.
thought that the Man with One Red Shoe, the composer was Thomas Newman, and we probably know a lot of his music. He's done some really great scores.
The Man with One Red Shoe. That's
Newman.
Oh, that's Randy Newman.
That's Randy. Yeah, wrong one. But I like that. That was a good impersonation.
A friend in me.
But I thought the interesting thing is I thought it sounded very much from that time period and very much like what's his name, Harold Faltermeyer. Type music.
Axel F.
Axel F.
It is a very 80s score. That is 100% correct.
Yes. It totally made me think like,
That, if you can't hear that in the background, that's old Andrew Sing What You Hear, Zumwalt.
Yeah, and I felt like that it was very, very much in that was very popular. That was a very popular kind of style at that time. And, I didn't feel like it needed to be that way, but maybe they were actually trying to reference that and, kind of tie it into those same movies. Beverly Hills Cop.
I just think that was the popular way to do music back then.
Fletch. It totally made me think of Fletch.
Yeah.
Which was a way funnier than either of these two movies. But
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because Thomas Newman has really gone on and he's one of the few directors or a few composers that has his own style. Like, I mean, there's maybe only like 5 or 6 film scores that when I'm listening to him, I can tell who it is. And Thomas Newman is one of those. I mean, he has a very distinct sound that he likes to lean on. So I did not like the constant use of Fever over and over and over again.
Oh, buddy.
And Man Who Knew Too Little. It was like, okay, so maybe Man Who Knew Too Little refers to the guy that wrote the score because this is the only fucking song he knows.
Yeah, so that's all I had for the overall stuff. And we didn't really talk about cinematography too much in the last category. Oh, but none of it really stood out.
And go on and on. I don't understand I understand that lighting and camera angles. They help evoke feelings and emotions. They help tell your story. I mean, it's one of the things we talk about when we talk about cinematography. We've seen films by some of the greatest cinematographers that have ever existed, and some of the greatest, lighting directors and art departments. And then you watch The Man with One Red Shoe, and there are scenes where it literally looks like someone has just smeared Vaseline on the camera for no reason. And some of the scenes, I would say especially the scenes in the quote unquote layer underneath some building, where it is incomprehensible why someone lit the film that way. I told my wife, are they on top of a pool? Because it's the only time I've ever seen lights that look like that from underneath. Is like, when you're sitting at the edge of a pool. Pools have lights inside them. It's dark outside, so you see like lights underneath. How could anyone do their work there? You couldn't see anything going on in front of you. It's ridiculous. It's just the weirdest thing. And later on, as the movie went on, and we saw things like people listening to secret conversations with earbuds in that could also be heard outside of moving vehicles.
I
told
why could you hear all that stuff that was going on in the ambulance?
I don't know. But I told my wife, this is the perfect example. If you ever had to tell someone, we found a movie, aliens really did crash land in Roswell, and they tried to make a movie of what they thought movies were, but they don't quite understand how human lighting and vision works. They don't understand how human sound works. So they're like, well, we'll just put plugs in their ears, but you can also hear it still, or, those are big details to miss. And to me, it really made the movie feel very amateurish and sloppy. Like,
is this movie made by digital llamas?
And his estate being bugged. I get that it's supposed to be a joke. I understand that there's a joke, but when your statues have working eyelids and you have to have the eyelid open for the bug to work, that's a very ineffective bug.
For some reason, I didn't even think about the statue having it.
I loved he would open it and talk to him and then close it. It's like, well, that doesn't.
It's a scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a scene that works in Naked Gun, but this movie does not have enough or any comedy in it, so that's bad. And it's just bad.
Well, now you've got me going through, and I'm looking at the cinematographers. So Robert M. Stevens that did is it One Red Shoe? Yeah.
If he ever worked again, it was too soon.
He's done a lot of director of photography, second unit Wayne's World, director of photography for Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, additional photography.
Jesus Christ.
Additional photography. Second unit Goonies, camera operator Ghostbusters, National Lampoon's Vacation, camera operator.
Wow. So allegedly he had the good cocaine in the 80s.
Yes. And then which one was this? Sorry, I fell way down the rabbit hole. Man with One Red Shoe. He did like Howard the Duck.
Oh, that's okay. See, I got the two mixed up. I thought you were talking about the guy from Man with One Red Shoe. That totally tracks that guy would do.
Kyle, you recently watched all these movies. He was
Death Wish
photography for Death Wish 2 and Star Trek motion picture. Like, I was just Soylent Green.
Wow.
What?
Oh, I've heard it's people.
Yeah, it is. I've heard that too. I've heard that too. So yeah, that's how much we don't want to talk more about these movies.
I don't think we've heard enough from Tom. Tom, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, I'll never watch either of these movies ever again. I didn't particularly enjoy them. I thought they were pretty insufferable. I feel like Red Shoe was a little bit more entertaining, but it was more of a seeing where these people were at, like seeing where Tom Hanks was at this point in his career more than anything else. I do have to dock Man with One Red Shoe. Of all of the actors, they had they could get any actor they wanted. and they're like, "Hey, we need you to be a waiter that's approximately the size of Alfred Molina." And they got a guy 3 inches shorter than Alfred Molina. And when he goes to like hit him and steal his suit, he like sizes him up. Why did he not wave him off and be like, "Never mind, I'll go find a bigger waiter"? And like, it's like it didn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, just why can't you just find a waiter that's Alfred Molina's size? He's not.
See, that's a funny joke if he comes out and the outfit looks terrible on him.
Right, but it didn't. It was fucking.
I know,
perfect.
right? Yeah, it's a mixed. It's a
They
mixed.
did that in one of the Raiders of the Lost Ark movies, where he beats up he beats up a German and he's too small, and he comes out and it doesn't
at
fit.
the submarine when he was at the submarine dock.
And
Yeah.
also Last Crusade, wasn't it, when he's asking for tickets?
When he asked for tickets,
Yeah.
the ticket.
Nobody knows how it's done.
That's the difference between directors right there.
Yeah. Although Stan
And
Dragody's cut of Schindler's List is really funny.
My God.
I heard they're doing a sequel called Sophie's Multiple Choice.
Jesus. Well, all right.
Well, let's get out of here a minute early. So, you guys
That'll
ready to
do it.
vote? Okay, that'll do it. Let's go to overall, and we're going to start with Tom.
Man with One Red Shoe.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
All
sorry.
right.
Gabe.
Red Shoe.
Mike.
Knew too little.
And Andrew.
Too little.
Oh man.
Okay. Like I told you, I had some trouble finding juicy tidbits on these movies in trivia, so I'm going to read you the most boring things I could find about them. Ready? Is everybody ready?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, please.
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
This is for the man with one red shoe. This was rated 26 times as helpful on IMDb. The cocaine in the opening sequence of the film is actually baking powder.
1985 cocaine would have been cheaper.
Okay. This one was given 5 helpful votes and 10 thumbs down. Richard's dentist's phone number is 202-872-1501.
Cool.
Oh. Do we know that because we can see him pressing the buttons on the phone? Is that how we know that?
No one's going that far into this.
Just let it ride, man.
That's it
Just
for that.
let it
Yeah,
ride.
okay. So for the man who knew too little, one of the agents at the end has the last name Venkman, just like Bill Murray's character in the Ghostbusters movie. This was the debut theatrical movie of Eddie Marsan as Mugger number 1.
Yeah, I recognized him. I was like, oh, this is a weird role for him to be playing because I kind of like him. I mean, he's kind of a character actor, but I kind of like him.
I recognized him, but he played Mugger number 3 in that other movie. It's just different.
I liked him in Atomic Blonde. What else was he in?
Who cares?
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks.
This trivia I'm going to read
I think
because
when somebody else is the host, we should take that thing away from Mike. Yikes.
I'm going to read this trivia
altogether.
because I love the way it's written because of the characters' names. All right, here we go. This is for the man who knew too little. Guy Standeven appears in the film as an extra sitting behind John Standing. It's another actor's name. At the dinner for the ambassadors. Guy is also the man who knew too much as part of the Albert Hall climax some 41 years later. So just for your who's on first, Guy Standeven is sitting behind John Standing.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad we trimmed those seconds off those rounds. This is great.
That story right there was funnier than both movies.
It was funnier than the man with one red shoe. I will agree with you. All right. So while I tabulate these and cheat so that the right movie wins, let's go ahead and do some
You
recommendations.
better not, you ass.
Wow.
Don't you
Well,
dare cheat.
Threats will get you
Well,
nowhere.
What if he cheated in your favor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you know
that's
I
gonna
wasn't going to cheat in your favor?
Yeah.
Isn't this the
Yeah.
podcast where the points don't matter?
True.
No, that's
You're
whose
talking-
line is it anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On whose line is it anyway? Where's Drew Carey?
He left.
So I don't blame him. I'd have left too if I could have. Let's start with who did writing.
I did.
I wrote it down somewhere. Go Tom.
Hey, you know what? If you want to see a good mistaken identity movie, go see North by Northwest, Hitchcock's film. It's way better, and I'm gonna have to watch it tonight to cleanse my palate. North by Northwest, check it out.
Good call.
Have we not recommended that one before?
It doesn't matter. This is the podcast where recommendations don't count.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
a great movie. That movie is fantastic.
It's really good.
And if my memory serves me correctly, and I'm sure it doesn't, I think it's Gabe's turn.
It did serve you correctly. Yeah, I'm going to recommend a movie we watched recently on Netflix, Wake Up Dead Man. It's the third installment of the Knives Out trilogy with Daniel Craig in it. It's got a lot of great actors in it. It's really well written. The character development is great. There's some really fantastic dialogue in it. It's beautifully shot. It's an entertaining movie. I would highly recommend it. It's very good. So if you have Netflix, because I think that's the only place you can get it right now, is you should watch Wake Up Dead Man.
Agreed.
Thank you. Moving on to Andrew.
I'm going to recommend an actual funny cop-like movie. I'm going to recommend The Naked Gun, the 2025 version. It's a continuation of the first three. Naked Gun 2.5, and Naked Gun 33 1/3. This is The Naked Gun. It is the fourth. It picks up pretty much where the other ones left off 20 years ago, and it's really well done. It has the same feel and funniness and goofiness, and it's better than both of these movies.
It's a low bar, but I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, you're right. I want to see that one.
It's very cute.
It seems fun.
It has the same feel as the original Naked Gun that the Zucker brothers, coined in a sense, and so it just has that good momentum. So highly recommended.
Yeah, I feel like it's a different type of character for Liam Neeson too.
Oh
You know,
yeah, 100%.
He doesn't play that kind. He's always plays the tough guy, kind of thing. But that seems fun.
Okay, thank you. And next we're going to go to Mike. And Mike, I'm also going to tell you, check the chat there. I wrote something because I think you need it for a sound drop. So,
Gotcha. Thank you. So One Red Shoe reminds me of, it's a date movie, right? Like it's just something you're going to take a date to go see. And we are getting kind of less of those comedy date movies. We're getting less and less of those. But the ones that we do get actually are still kind of fun. And this one to me was a lot of fun. And I actually took a date to it with a girl. But it stars Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, and it's night and day. It's a spy action movie. It's along the same lines as these. Someone gets sucked into something that they're not ready to deal with. An average Joe, or Joette. Is Joette a word? Jolene? Average Jolene. Let's go with that. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out Night and Day. It is a lot of fun.
Jolene.
Yeah, that movie is kind of one of my guilty pleasures. I really enjoy that movie. I find it very entertaining to watch.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's really well made. It's really well put together.
Yep.
No matter
James
how you feel
Mangold
about Tom Cruise.
directed it.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good movie. Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much. I guess it's my time, and I have to give one as well, seeing as these are the only 2 movies I've seen this year so far, which is utterly depressing. I am going to go for a movie that I watched at the end of last year. My wife and I tried to knock off every letter of the alphabet, and she threw in one that had to be a number, so we watched 21 Jump Street. But I watched a movie from the 90s. It was critically acclaimed. I had heard a little bit about it, but was never really interested. Stars Ray Fiennes and John Turturro and Hank Azaria. And it's called Quiz Show. A very good movie. I really enjoyed it. Very intriguing. Ray Fiennes gives a great performance, and I was far more interested in it than I thought I would be. I think it's a good film. It's a little long, but it's very interesting. Oh, and Shooter McGavin. Christopher McDonald is in it. So
Shooter McGavin,
yeah. So if you get a chance and you're into quiz-related conspiracies from the 50s and 60s, it's right up your alley.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
agreed.
Also,
a lot of great recommendations tonight, folks.
Mike, I think it's very brave of you to recommend both Date Movie and Red Shoe Diaries tonight. So
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think it's time to poke the monkey and find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Your winner by decision is the man with one red shoe!
That's right. The man with one red shoe squeaks out a win 9-7. And you know what that means. God is dead and we are his disciples. Please leave us a review on whatever podcasting service you use. It helps us reach new listeners. If you like us, tell your friends. If you hate us, tell your enemies. You can contact us at cinesmack@gmail.com. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and now Twitch, where you can join the live recordings and watch us unedited, as if anyone edits this. Just search for Cinesmack. In February, we will be taking a look at 2 Oscar favorites as one battle after another goes toe-to-toe with Sinners. For Andrew, Gabe, Tom, Mike, and myself, thanks for listening. I hope you're having a great new year, and go catch a flick. I have to go visit some friends in South America.
Oh, really? Well,
Diablo Smoke Bomb.
This has been a test of the Southsider Studios podcast system. This was only a test. If this were a true lack of entertainment, your head would explode. Go to iTunes and subscribe to our feed. Just search Southsider Studios.